Alright, so this is the render straight out of Blender, and now we can just go ahead and edit this inside of Luminar AI, or Luminar Neo, my bad. I keep calling it Luminar AI for some reason. And do note that I'm actually on my Mac right now because I have a Luminar Neo installed on my Mac. So you can just open Luminar Neo, and what we're going to be doing is that, actually, let me just make sure that you guys can see the edges. Yep, you can, and the bottom, yeah, it's fine as well. My bad. So we can just click add photos, and we can just go ahead and browse over to where we had, I think it was this one, yeah, perfume course. Let's add, and now we can just go ahead and start to make edits, right? So you can use these presets if you want. I personally don't really like these presets a lot. Some of them are nice, but I like to just do things manually. But you can see that they give your render a very stylized, not stylized, a very artistic sort of look. If you're into that kind of stuff, you can feel free to like apply any of these presets, but I'm personally just gonna go ahead and do the editing manually. So I'm just gonna go to edit, right? And what we can do is I usually like to start off with develop. Just go to essentials and develop. And I like to increase the contrast a little bit, not a lot though, obviously, because this render already has a lot of contrast. Let me increase the brightness so I can see better. And just a tad bit of contrast should be fine. I'm actually going to increase the shadows a little bit, just a tad bit, so we can see the darker parts even better, a little better. We might need to decrease the highlights a tad bit and then increase the contrast. Something like that is good. Let's go to color and also increase the vibrance a little bit. Actually, I might actually go ahead and decrease the vibrance a little bit because it's like too saturated in some areas, so I don't want it to be that saturated. You can see this is, one sec, this is the before. It looks a little flat. This is the after. I mean, the difference is not as much, but like, you know, it's slightly better. But right now we're just getting started, right? Let's go to enhance, and this really adds like a lot of sort of personality to your render. And I'm just going to be increasing it a little bit, something like that. Something like 10 should be good. It's important that you don't go overboard with this, because it's very easy to sort of go overboard and apply a lot of this, which is not going to look good. So yeah. We can also go down and maybe add a little bit of film grain. Film grain is really important for renders. It makes them look a lot more realistic and just like better in general. You can see if I zoom in, if I reduce it, you're gonna see that most of our renders are like perfectly clean. It's perfectly sort of there's no noise or anything like that, because the denoising that we did. But like, to make them look realistic, you want to add a little bit of film grain. Something like 10 or 15 should be fine. Perfect. After that, I think we're essentially almost done. We just need to do like a little bit of random edits here and there. I like to add a little bit of glow in sort of these sort of renders. So I usually like to set it to glow and not soft focus, and just increase it a little bit, something like that. Not a lot, but like a little bit, something like that. It just makes like the render sort of, I don't know, pop a little bit. I don't know how to like explain it, but it just makes it look a little better. We're going to be adding a little bit of vignette. So vignette, we're going to be adding a negative value so that the edges are darker. And we can also, let's see what structure is all about, because I've never really tried it. Okay. If I add a little bit of it, let's see what happens. I kind of like it, honestly. I think it looks good. So this is the before and this is the after. Not a lot of difference in this render. Some renders you're gonna see that Luminar is gonna make them look a lot better, but in renders like these, which already look pretty good, I don't think you can like do a lot there. You know, we can also add some more details to this. Just make this for example, this log just pop a little more, you know. Just increase all of them slightly, and it's just gonna make it look, you know, a little. Actually, I think we went a little overboard with this. Something like 15 might be good. Let's do 15 in all of them. And 15. Should be good. Perfect. So I think it looks pretty good. This is the before. It's the before and this is the after. And I think it looks pretty good. All right. So we're essentially done with this. Once you're done editing, you can just right click this, click export, and we can just set it to wherever we want. I'm just going to add a dash and edit it, and just save it. Perfect. So that's essentially it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.